I want to ask you a question. Who's coaching you? Who's asking you the tough questions? Who's telling you, man, you're the common denominator to all of your issues and challenges? Who's telling you, man, all day long you become the magnetic pulse that attracts to you both good and bad? I want to be your life coach. I want to be the one that cheers you on to the finish line. I want to be the one that you ask the tough questions. And it doesn't mean that I have all the answers, but that means that you have a partner, someone who believes in you, not the you see right now, but the you can't imagine, the you that you are to become, the you are destined to be. I always say we both need the positive and the negative. It's not enough to have the knowledge of the matter, but we must have the wisdom as well. For wisdom settles it. And that's what I want to offer you as you join me on the Coach's Corner. I want to offer you the wisdom of the matter. Maybe it might be relationships, talking about our campaigns for more, for life, the dark room of our subconscious, our spiritual journey. Whatever it is, I want to be there to encourage you, to build you, to challenge you, to cheer you on to the finish line. I'm qualified to do this. Why? Because I'm you. Thank you so very much for joining us for another edition of the Coach's Corner right here on SIBN Radio. My name is Marcus Slett, and assuredly I bring to the table my personal and professional issues, but I also try to bring to the table the wisdoms from the scars of the journey of life that I have incurred, and trust that you will allow me a chance to earn the right to speak into your life. Thank you for sharing this broadcast and the podcast, for those that are listening on podcasting platforms, with a friend. And by all means, thank you for following us on Twitter and on Facebook. And for all of those that are skeptics and didn't believe, thank you for pushing me over the edge into something I was already destined to do. Today we're going to be talking about a very interesting thought, which is entitled, Egos That Suffer Will Wander Somewhere. We'll talk a little bit about the ego. Is your ego suffering? The central makeup of a man is egotistical. And we want to know, is it suffering or is it healthy? Let's find out right here on the Coach's Corner. And thank you, Mr. Engineer. We are here again today. Another great day to do great things. And we have to see it that way no matter what. I was sharing with you, and just being honest, was sharing with you about this ticket that I had received a while back. Just when I was leaving the studio, I just was in the zone, really, just not there, really. In deep thought about too many things, and didn't realize that a ticket in the school zone was like well over $500. The point of the matter of this, it's a blow to the ego. It makes you think and wonder, okay, what am I to do with my deep thinking self, especially when I leave the studio after I'm off the air? And it's just a thought today. The thought today, we wanted to just define, what an ego is. We hear the word so much. What is an ego? A Cambridge dictionary says that ego is your idea or opinion of yourself, a great feeling of your own importance and ability. And in psychoanalysis, the part of a person's mind which tries to match the hidden desires and wishes of the ID, the part of the unconscious mind which demands of reality. So if we was to put it in short, do we have a healthy idea, an opinion of ourselves? I should add balanced opinion and of ourselves. Do we have a great feeling about our own importance? Do we have a great feeling about our own ability? I want to say a word or two about the ego that is bruised or left unused by those who are in covenant relationships. And I spoke about another show. I spoke about men being accomplished based and women being accomplished based as well, but also able to manage emotional relations a lot easier. And I spoke about men suffering because women are, they also have an ego, and women are, in my view, this is just me, not all women. I don't want to be general. Don't want to make too many generalizations, but oftentimes women are sick of men's ego. And I think we've underestimated what the ego was really for. So there's an abuse and there's a misuse and there's a abandoned ego, if you will. There's a lot of abandoned egos, by the way. Because if an ego is to reveal or to display your opinion of yourself, then if you're in love with someone, they should be supporting your opinion of yourself. And if your ego is about your great feeling of your importance and ability, and if you're in love with someone, then when you're not feeling great, they're going to be there to reassure you somehow, some way, to feel great, important, and upbeat about your ability. But as I said, today's thought is when the ego suffers, it wanders if you're not careful. What do I mean? Well, for men, we tend to, whether we like to admit it or not, as disciplined as we may appear, as strong as we may be, men tend to go where the ego is stroked. I need some help right there. Now, maybe we may not cross boundaries and violate space and, but the best of us have the best intentions, but the worst outcome. And so you want to guard yourself if you can. If you're a man out there and your ego has been suffering, you've lost let's just go down the line. How can a man's ego suffer? Well, he's lost his job. He has not been able to recoup. He's over 35 or over 40. He has responsibilities he has to fulfill. You think that his ego don't need to be stroked? Listen, if you think that a man over 35 that lost his job through no fault of his own and have been looking for work and haven't found some yet, 6 months, 8 months, 9 months, 12 months later, if you think that his ego, is not wondering, you are blind. It's just only now. It's like a radar. For a man, ego is like a radar. Where do I get my fuel? Where do I get my fuel? I'm serious. Where do I get my fuel? And the best of us gas up at the wrong places, but hey, I'm just letting you in on the secret. You start to feel it. If you've been out of work for a number of months, number of years, you're going to start to feel crap about yourself. And all you need is somebody to come along who wants to be in control of things and wants to be in charge and wants to display how much, I know someone. If you do something, you'll have to tell them that you did it. But if they do something, they'll tell you, did you like how I did it? It's just, this ego thing is really dangerous sometimes. And speaking about men, men are fragile, egotistical beings to me. We are fragile. We don't admit it. We're not going to say it. We're not going to wear it on a t-shirt. The hell, we're not going to just come on out and tell you. But we are egotistically fragile. Most men who will be honest, who would dare to be integral. Yeah. Men's ego will wander for fuel. Where do I get to recharge? I've lost my job. Or my kids are gone. Perhaps you're in a relationship where the kids were awarded to the mother and, you miss your kids, or you're supposed to have visitations and you haven't been having them, or you don't have any success with any peace and conversations and communications with the mother. And so you're not feeling good about yourself. It doesn't mean that you're down and you're going to quit or anything. It's just that you're just not, your opinion, your ideal, your ideology is being tampered with. The feeling of your own importance has been dampered. Your own ability is questioned. These are the things that happens when an ego wanders, in case you didn't know. So, if I'm just saying, if you're in a relationship with a man, I'm just talking about men because I'm a man. I can't really talk a lot about women because, what I'm saying, but I'm just talking about a man's perspective. You're in a relationship with a man and you see that he's not working. You see that his business idea is not jumping. You see his entrepreneurial program is not, you know what I'm saying? I mean, come the heck on here. You see all the signs, and then for some men, I'm just trying to be funny now, but I'm going out on a limb to say, and some men are intellectually stimulated, so sex won't, come on now, sex would not be enough for your intellectually stimulated guys, okay? So women, if you're in a relationship with a man and everything seems to be up and up, but you notice there's a dip in his accomplishment, there's something preventing him from moving forward, something drastic happens, some calamity, catastrophe, whatever, then you already know that his ego needs to be soothed. Come on, I don't know why people have a problem with that. If you say you love someone, if you say you're in a relationship with someone, why would you have a problem with that? Why would you have a problem making sure that your man's idea and opinion of himself is good? Because, we live under these pretentious conceptual ideas of a fake reality that doesn't get us nowhere. And then as soon as something falls apart, we want to, well, what happened? Well, what the hell do you think happened? Our unhealthy ego is going to wander. It doesn't always mean that it's wandering in a bad way, but it's still going to freaking wander because it has to be refueled somewhere from someplace. A person's mind is trying to dampen experiences can darken desires. I felt that right there. Dampened experiences can darken desires. And a lot of times we're just, I don't know, I don't think that we as a society care too much about how people are really doing. I mean, it's just a cliche. How are you doing? Oh, I'm fine. And as I always say, part of life is supposed to be pretentious, because you can't let the left hand know what the right hand is doing, and you can't always let everybody know what's on your mind. But it's just that most people really don't give a crap about you. You know that, right? While they smile in your face and quote scripture, and even call themselves praying for you from afar, that is. I remember one time, talk about, here's a blow to your ego. I was in church one time, and I was the leader of a department. I won't say what department, but I was the leader of this major department. And we had guests coming in from out of town. And all of a sudden, I got a headache. And I realized back in those days that once I got a headache that didn't really go away, that meant my blood pressure was up. And I needed to either take some medicine or go to the hospital, or get diagnosed or something. But I didn't fully integrate that then. I was just learning about this high blood pressure thing. But this headache was so bad, and this pastor that I had served him for a number of years, and I had helped him immensely. Moving here from another state, he was doing his grassroots thing, and I was there because I was a grassroots guy. And this headache was so bad, and I was standing right in front of him. I was like, oh, I thought I was going to faint. I thought I was just going to die. The headache was so bad. I think my blood pressure was just through the roof. I could have collapsed right then. And do you know he did not pray for me? He did not say, let me, because I said to him 3 times, and some of you out there say, well, why didn't you ask for prayer? Listen, all I can remember is holding my head and barely talking, standing in front of him while he's trying to talk to me. He's like, well, what's wrong? But I told him I had a real bad headache, and he kept talking. He did not offer one prayer. And I can go through countless examples. I know you probably say, well, you should have said something. But I know I could go through countless examples to show you. We care because we have some skin in the game. We care because we're controlling the major parts. We care because we fear what may happen to us. Don't get me started on why we care. We care because your dream makes my dream come true. Your response makes my dream come true, We got a lot of funny reasons why we care for folks. I'm just saying. You say, Coach, you sound awfully cynical today. Well, welcome to my world. But as the thought for today, the ego that suffers will wander. My ego suffered that day in front of a pastor bishop that wouldn't even pray for a man that runs his number one department, won't say what it is, and has the headache that could collapse him, and he could be calling the paramedics, and he wouldn't even stop and pray for me. But I know one time I went to him and told him about a settlement that I was expecting to receive. Oh, let us pray for you to make sure that the Lord favors you in that. What a blow to the ego, right? Everybody's not dumb, Some people catch on real quick, and some put it together later. Fool some of the people some of the time, but not all of the people all of the time, man. So I'm just saying, the ego that wanders, suffers, it wanders. I'm not saying negatively speaking. I'm just saying it wanders. Where do I refuel? Where do I recharge? Where do I get the next dopamine effect experience? You know what that is, right? The feel good experience. And that's why a lot of people just, they're hewn into the church model of life. Everything regarding Christendom, regarding their lives is church, 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 church. And I think partially, this is just me now, I've evolved to a thought on this. I think that we have not found Christ-likeness in other places of our lives where we can experience the dopamine effect. And so we have resolved ourselves to only the four-wall experience as the only major place of our lives. But there are other things in your life that you can do, especially when you find your purpose and your destiny, that has nothing to do with the four walls of the church, or nothing to do with the approval of the pastor or the approval of the bishops. And so, a lot of people are bamboozled. That's just me. That's just me talking. The ego that suffers. We all take blows to our ego. Some people say, get over it. And I would say that too. And typically that is the wisdom. But what you got to remember is this. We're still connected. The one that's telling you to get over it is still connected to you. The one that refuses to stroke the ego still complains when the ego is stroked by someone else other than them. I need some help right there. The one that tells you to get over it and humble yourself, and that's part of the suffering way, will be the same one that'll be needing you later on down the line. I've seen it over and over and over and over. I remember one time somebody said to me, well, you work too much. But if I was to say the same thing to them, they'll be looking at me like, are you kidding me? It's funny what we can dish out. That's make the ego suffers too. When one person realizes that they can, receive advice, but when they go to give it to the same individuals, it's not received. That's a blow to the ego. And we could talk about that. We talked about employment being a blow to the ego. We talk about lack of accomplishment, lack of continued growth, lack of progression can be a blow to the ego. Recycling back around to past patterns, recycling old behaviors, can be a blow to the ego. You see, bad experiences. And so when the ego suffers, it wanders. It's like a magnet. What would I be able to cling to? And men are great liars. I mean, only for the reason that we're not centrally emotionally capable of articulating, the psychosocial emotional makeup of our response to things. So we could lie very easily when it comes to, because we don't dig, we don't feel we have to be integral about how we feel about things, because, I'm a man. Yeah, okay. But at the end of the day, a feel bad is a feel bad. And we have to get back to the central being of who we really are, not who we are told we are. I heard someone walk out of court. Well, somebody said something. I forget. I didn't hardly hear what they said, but I thought you was going to be paying so and so, and the person walked out the court. Well, that's why I'm walking out of here because I'm highly favored. I was like, okay, well, favor works most times, but there are times when you got to pay. Does that mean that there's not a blessing in it for me? Does that mean that I'm not silenced and baffled by what happened, and knowing that I did not really mean to go 40 and a 35. Yeah, I was doing 45 and 35 to 10 miles over in school limit, in school zone. We just got these, we just got these weird ideas sometimes. even about favor. Got some weird ideas about that. Anyway, I'm done. These are the things that are on my mind, and just wanted to share them with you. Hope you're doing okay. Hope you're making it. It's rough out there. It really can be tough out there. And I was thinking the other day, I was meditating, I was regurgitating a thought that I had some years ago. I want to go camping. Pack my truck, rugged as it is. Get my tent, my son. Go out to the boonies. No TV, no internet, no electronics really. Just take us an old-fashioned little AM radio, whatever. Just try to practice the simple things. Because sometimes the ego is looking for the intricacies of the delicacies that it once enjoyed or it normally enjoys. And sometimes you have to simplify and go back to the base to recharge through appreciation and through gratefulness. So I thought about that. Might just go camping. Encourage myself in the Lord. Holla back.